Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I wanted to do a quick comparison video of two fragrances that you guys ask about quite often, even still, and for a while now these have been really popular within the fragrance community, really popular designer, sort of higher end designer fragrances that get a lot of hype, get a lot of attention, and these are two essentially different flankers that a lot of people are on the fence about. Which one of these should they grab? Which one should they pass on? Would it be redundant owning both? So I'm here to answer that question today. I'm going to tell you which one of these two are my favorite. Are they redundant? And my overall thoughts on each one. So let's jump into it. So the fragrances that we're talking about, full disclosure, I only have a decant of one of them. But the first one is, of course, Givenchy Gentleman Eau de Parfum. And this one has been in my collection for quite some time. Absolutely love this fragrance. Amazing iris scent. Masculine, sort of all-arounder for the cooler weather. Signature worthy in my opinion. And then of course, Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé. So this one I did do an initial first impressions of, and for the longest time, when I first tested this, I always thought that it was just a little bit too similar to Givenchy Gentleman Eau de Parfum to justify buying a bottle of this. Now, with that being said, I've never tested them side by side, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. So let's get this on skin. Let's get each one on a different hand. And on this hand, I'm going to have the EDP. And on this hand, I will have Reserve Privé, which I want to say is the most recent flanker that has been released from the line. Now, in the air, they're mixing together nicely. Obviously, that iris note is signature for the line. So if you like iris, you're going to like this. But yeah, let's see what this does. So let's go to the EDP first. Yeah, just an amazing, amazing fragrance. And one that, as I said, I wear quite often, especially in the cooler months, going out at night. It just reminds me of a well put together gentleman dressed to the nines and signature worthy. So you're going to get some positive attention from this. I love it. A little bit powdery. Keep that in mind. So let's check the Reserve Privé. Okay, so a little bit held back on the iris. So not quite as prominent in Reserve Privé as it is in the EDP. Also has a little bit more of a smoother vanillic touch to it. It's a little bit sweeter. And then you have a little bit of that booziness as well. So let's take a look at the notes for each really quickly. I'm going to give these a few minutes on my skin and see how they change. A few of you guys asked about this particular hoodie. Actually, I was wearing a gray one, I think, in another video. You guys can actually go find this hoodie over on keepitokicks.com. They have an online store. This is part of the unreleased Yeezy Gap collaboration, and I am not even kidding when I tell you guys, this is the best zip-up hoodie I've ever put on. The best, without question, that I have ever owned. Super high quality, nice heavy weight. This colorway is the Poetic Black, which is my favorite of all the colors. It's double layered construction, so it has this really nice heft to it, really warm. It has more of a crop fit to it as well, which I actually prefer because it allows, a little bit of the shirt that you're wearing underneath to peek out. And it's just a great layering piece. So if you guys want to save 10% over on Keep It Kicks, use my code GerardGeorge. It will save you 10% on all of the unreleased Yeezy Gap collab stuff that they have on their website. Definitely go check it out. I will be buying more of these hoodies. So the notes for Givenchy Gentleman Eau de Parfum, top notes are black pepper, lavender, and bergamot. Mid notes are orris, cloves, and cinnamon. The base notes are black vanilla husk, tolu balsam, tonka bean, benzoin, and patchouli. And the notes for Givenchy Gentleman Eau de Parfum Reserve Privé, top notes are bergamot, mid notes are iris and chestnut, and the base notes are whiskey, woodsy notes, and amber. One thing I will say is that of the entire line, the Givenchy Gentleman line, these two are probably the closest to one another. If you own one of these, owning the other is going to be redundant. That's my personal opinion. I don't think that, well, let's talk about what makes them different. This, okay, the Reserve Privé, obviously the name, you have a little bit more of a booziness, maybe a little bit smoother, a little bit more of a chocolatey patchouli vibe. But here, you get a little bit more of that iris. It's not quite as velvety smooth or buttery as this. So if you like a smoother fragrance, you may want to lean towards the Reserve Privé. But if you like maybe a little bit of an edgier fragrance, one that almost kind of reminds you of like a black leather. I know leather's not a note in here, but there's just something about it that kind of reminds me of that, and I like it. I like how it has a little bit of edge to it. Ideal for an evening out. I think, going out in the city, having dinner with my wife, maybe having drinks after or something like that. It's going to be perfect for a night out, especially in the cooler weather. So, but I do like both of them, but they're so damn close. One thing that does stand out a little bit more in the eau de parfum is a little bit more of a citrus note, which I like because I think it kind of breaks up some of these heavier, denser, more ambery, boozy notes. So yeah, in the Reserve Privé, I don't get quite as much of that citrus. So for that reason, I almost have to deduct a point from this because it doesn't make it as complex as the eau de parfum. So knee-jerk reaction, my favorite still remains to be the eau de parfum. That doesn't mean that the Reserve Privé is no good. I think this smells incredible as well. And if I didn't own either, if you pick one or the other, you're not going to miss. You're going to be happy with your choice. And as these even are drying down on my skin right now, I would almost venture to say they're becoming kind of indistinguishable from one another because of that prominent iris note in both. It is a little bit more prominent in the eau de parfum, however. And I'm also getting a little bit more of a spicy pepper type vibe in the eau de parfum, which I think lends itself to being a little bit more edgy. And in the Reserve Privé, it has a little bit more of a smoother, kind of sweeter undertone. So, look, guys, as I said, when we're talking about the Givenchy Gentleman line, I'm a fan of most of them, if not all of them. I love the EDT. The EDT, I think, is super slept on, but yeah, I'm still choosing the eau de parfum just because it feels like it has more of a certain identity to me. It's a little more identifiable. The Reserve Privé is nice, but again, they're very close to one another. I remember the first time I smelled the Reserve Privé being a little bit disappointed because it did remind me so much of the eau de parfum. So yeah, I would love to know you guys' thoughts on either one of these fragrances. One thing I should note is that I can't really speak to the performance of the Reserve Privé, but if it's anything like the eau de parfum performance, you will not be disappointed. They have really good performance. Mainly in longevity. They're not massive projectors, but they do project really nicely for the first couple of hours. So yeah, would love to know you guys' thoughts on either one of these fragrances. Do you have a favorite of the two? Do you have a favorite of the line? Drop it in the comment section down below. But as always, guys, if you like what you saw today, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Hit that bell notification so you'll update it whenever I upload new content. But until then, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video.